Oh, hey, welcome to another installment of Sunday Night KloobySnacks. I'm Abby Klubeck, and this is my dad. And we are on the 45th week of reading one tip from our 4-category 52 snack book. And that is that. Here we are on week 45, LFG. Is that good?
All right. And if you want to join us live, the link is right below tinyurl.com/KloobySnack45. Abby, it's great to join you. Thanks for getting us started with the first voice to kick off the session tonight. Do you have any special guests this evening?
Yes, I'm with Jax, my best friend from San Diego, who came all the way
in New York.
All the way to visit me. My heart is full and happy and beating amazingly.
That's awesome. It's great to see you, Jax. Last time I saw you, in fact, every time I've seen you, you've been here in San Diego, and now you're 3,000 miles away.
That's right.
With me, first time in New York.
It's great out here.
Well, let me say publicly what a great friend you've been to Abby, how grateful I am that Abby has great friends in her life, and I hope you guys have a blast, and I'm sure that New York has got you like mind-boggled already, so enjoy every second of it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that.
All right. So, Abby, let me ask you, what kind of week has it been for you? Tell me about it.
It's been a wee bit stressful, I'll admit. I had an essay due this weekend, so I did that. That's kind of it. Pretty chill, but it was really exciting because I knew that at the end of the week, then Jax would come. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, you told me before we started the live stream that this is another one of the snacks that you're not necessarily most happy with. We know that there's handfuls that was like, wow, who is this young girl? She's ahead of her time. Oh my God, what insights. And there are others that you were just checking the boxes and getting through it. We know, right? And I chose not to say anything at the time, but the benefit of hindsight, we had this conversation last week, but that's okay. That's right. Out of 52, if we're, it's like, what's 90% or 93%? How do you get an A on this test? Like 93% of these snacks are pretty good, right? Anyway, but what I do want to tell you is that I did something super fun this week. So I'm going to take a minute to tell you about it. And I think but here we go. I'm in a networking organization called Provisors. And at Provisors, you've got your home group that you join that you meet at once a month, but then you can guest at other groups that are established around town. And my home group's a half hour away. It's downtown. So I like guesting at the other groups that are closer. And I just want to guest as much as possible anyway. It's just great for the organization, great for your home group when you're going to other groups, and great for those groups when guests are coming in. And it's just like anything else. The more you put in, the more you get out. Well, all year long, especially at the beginning of the year when we came out with the book, I was tongue-tied. I was like falling over myself trying to introduce myself when it was my turn to do my elevator pitch. Like, you're supposed to like be memorable and succinct when you're introducing yourself at these networking events, because you want people to be interested in you so that they can begin to know you, like you, trust you, and want to refer business to you, and on, right? But at the beginning of the year, I was just so wildly enamored. Instead of introducing myself and what I do for a living, I'm like, hey, I'm Jeff, and I'm Abby's dad, and we wrote this book. And I was just like, I felt really super awkward at a lot of the guesting I was doing, because I was talking about KloobySnacks, and I'd ask people to pick a number between 1 and 52 and read a KloobySnack, and sometimes it would really land, and sometimes I felt like I was awkward. And I say all of that because earlier this week I was guesting, and the group leader at this particular group, Kimberly Best Rubidoux is her name. She's a fantastic woman. She does immigration law. She's just incredible, helping people in an immense way, especially in these times. And she's a really kind soul, but she's a foodie. So when you visit her group, she's got these liqueurs that she gives out, and like little chocolate bars, like sea salt or dark chocolate bars. And I'm like, oh, I would always want mom to meet Kimberly because of the foodie and the recipe exchange and how good mom is in the kitchen. And like, hey, Marianne, can you make something with these liqueurs, like a cheesecake or something? And of course, I've always wanted Marianne to either make a cheesecake or make KloobySnacks to bring them in to share in exchange with Kimberly. So I asked mom finally this week, I'm like, I finally had time in my calendar to visit this woman's group again. And I haven't visited since like last year. And I'd see her at other groups and tell her that I can't wait to visit a group to bring her food from my wife's kitchen, But I finally had the opportunity, and mom, God bless her, she stopped what she was doing the other night. She got off the computer and she came down and she made a batch of KloobySnacks, and I was so awkward. I'm like, all right, how do I do this? Like, there's going to be people at do I just give snacks to Kimberly? But if we're going to make a batch, might as well make enough. But oh my God, is that too much on mom? Because what if there's 50 people at the event? Like, you make 50 KloobySnacks, and how do you pass them out? How do I package them so that they aren't all gone. I want to make sure there's some left over for the group leader. Okay, different packages. Okay, the little bag with the tissue for Kimberly.
I get it.
No, it's just funny. Like me, I'm like, Marianne, will you help me? I didn't have I was so awkward. So awkward. Anyway, mom makes the big batch, and I'm like figuring out, do I just bring a little thing for Kimberly, or do I go for it? Do I bring the big batch? And so clunky dad, I come into the office and I rip off a cover of a copy of KloobySnacks, and I break out my tape and I taped it to this Tupperware container. Okay. Like super, super funny. Yeah. And I put all of the KloobySnacks in here, and I introduced myself, and I sent around the bucket, and I was just watching the bucket go around the room, and people were like opening up and reaching their hand into it was so cool. It was like a little tiny, silly, jovial, guilty pleasure, but I thought it landed, and I couldn't wait to tell you about it.
I know you sent me a video of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I know a video that I created this, but not the video of me passing out the KloobySnacks at the networking event. Anyway, it was really fun to finally have. I ended up saying, what was my line? Like the cookies are not numbered, but the KloobySnack, the motivational quotes are. Somebody pick a number between 1 and 52. But that's like the one colorful thing that I've got for you this week. Are you ready to get into tonight's snack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to do a review of?
We can.
Well, by now everybody knows Baker's Dozens. You know, one of the things that's cool about like this, it's just for me, like creating a little jar, is because of the artwork inside the book that we've got like a cookie jar, you know, for each flavor. So we started with loving flavored, then ego flavored, then discipline flavored, and now we're in integrity flavored. So the first snack of this section was number 40, and that's behavior is the evidence of our integrity. Then 41, honesty is a strategy, a lie is a tactic. Then 42, this is like probably so far my favorite in the whole section. Accountability will always feel like an attack when we're not ready to be 100% responsible for our own behavior. It's like the essence of so much. That's underneath so much of what I'm trying to do professionally with communication, soft skills, non-threatening accountability, etc. Anyway, number 43, we are never guilty of ignorance, but we are always guilty when willfully ignorant. Okay, that might be my favorite one of the section. That one's a really good one. And then last week we talked about critical thinking creates ideas, strategic thinking makes them work. So far, there are 2 KloobySnacks in this section that you wanted to reword out of the original form that I had it in, and where I was like, okay, cool, whatever you want it to be, let's roll with it. But that takes us to tonight. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I really have a lot of things to say already about what I wrote. I really don't like it.
What you mean? Wait. You mean you're hesitant to roll into this?
No, I'm ready. Snack? I'm ready to read it just so I can get it over with, and then talk about what my thoughts and corrections.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. So drum roll, please. KloobySnack 45 is: never let the possibility of not achieving your goal prevent you from pursuing your goal. So let me go ahead and screen share, as Abby likes me to do, to bring up the KloobySnack PDF. And there it is. Never, in all caps, never let the possibility of not achieving your goal stop you from pursuing. Pursuing's in all caps also. It says never pursuing. Anyway, just pursuing is the most important part. Go ahead, Abby. Take it away.
Throughout the process of writing this book, there were many times when it seemed almost impossible to meet the deadlines we needed to. We had 52 KloobySnacks to write in the midst of my shows, college applications, and schoolwork. There was a lot to get done, and it felt as if the clock was beating us in multiple aspects. My dad had a goal to get the book published by January 1st, which gave us a little over 2 months to finish the book. When he doubted my ability to write all of the snacks for my time commitment to the book, we could have decided to just call the entire project off. We could have decided to erase his original vision and push the publishing date back a few months. Instead, being the ambitious person my dad is, we kept the original publishing date and stuck to our original goal. We figured out effective ways to get my writing done, setting daily goals of how many KloobySnacks I would write. Though there were many times where our goals seemed unreasonable or unachievable, we stuck to our original commitment and produced a book that we once doubted.
And that's that.
That's literally it.
Okay. Is this like the I'm mad at my dad version of KloobySnack response? Or anyway, I'll be quiet. What are your thoughts now, looking back on the KloobySnack itself and what? Yeah.
I like the KloobySnack itself, and I think that there's so many more things that I could have written about. But all things considered, I can't be too mad because like at this time, like, I mean, like, I was in like the midst of college applications, but I hadn't really like gone through or finished the process. Like I hadn't really like done enough. Not that I haven't done enough, but like to write about. Like there was only so many things that I could pull from. Like I pulled from theater, I pulled from the book itself, and from school, and from Girl Scouts, and from all these things. But it's like they got to a certain point where it's like I'm writing about things that I hadn't yet experienced or known much about. And that's the ones that I don't really like, because it's like I don't have anything really substantial to say, even though like that, like this is true. Like there was like many times where like we didn't think that the book was gonna get done, but like that doesn't, but we kept like doing it. So like what I said is true, but I feel like there was times where I didn't have anything really of value to contribute or anything that like came to mind. You know what I mean? So like that's where I'm like, those are the ones where it's like.
You mean you recall struggling or feeling an absence of something valuable or worthy to contribute?
Yeah.
You're remembering those times and how uncomfortable that felt?
Yeah, it was just like, it was like I look at the KloobySnack and I'm like, yes, this is true, but it's like I don't know what I have to say about it quite yet. You know? So those are the ones that I like read it and I just like cringe because I'm just like, girl.
Yeah, and you know, it's part of the dance. You know, like in other words, I didn't want to. Let me just share something in kind, right? Not in direct response to what you're saying, but to put it side by side with what you were saying. In kind, I was in doubt a lot in our project about how much guidance versus how much space to provide. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you always want what's organic, what's natural, like trusting in me believing and trusting in your genius. Like I don't need to guide you too much. You're too brilliant on your own. But then also brilliance and genius and creativity sometimes it doesn't respond to deadlines or due dates necessarily in real time and real clockwork, right? Sometimes. So I'm getting all of that, but then also I was also afraid to push too much, because I didn't want you to back out. I didn't want you to throw your hands up. And then, of course, I didn't want necessarily your responses to just be a regurgitation of what I would have written on my own anyway, because I think one of the rich qualities of this book is how different my collection of thoughts were when I came up with the snack compared to what your collection of thoughts are interpreting and writing about and applying the snack to your own life. That gap is genius, for people to dive into. I think if they're consuming, enjoying the book and the intergenerational pieces of it. And then the last thing that I'm going to say, just to put it out there, is like this snack comes from when in the integrity game, goal setting is one of the 10 points on the model. And when I teach goal setting, we infuse it with it's like mindset and motivation and accountability and measurability and specifics. There's like the SMART goal setting framework that I even added an A to it and changed the R to make sure that it's more focused on behavioral change and all the things that I do for a living, right? And are you there? You seem frozen. I see the clock ticking. Frozen. Well, I'm assuming the show's going on and we're still live streaming. Let's hope that you come back in a real-time way. But let me finish my thought. Is that, like she's dropped off. Let's see if she comes back. So for those of you that may be watching the recording out there, let me switch banners now at least. Welcome to KloobySnack. If you want to come online and join me and see until my daughter reconnects to the session. The URL is right there, tinyurl.com/KloobySnack45. So what I was talking about, and I can put the visual back up on the board since Abby's not here, is when we look at the actual KloobySnack, just so people can see it, never let the possibility of not achieving your goal stop you from pursuing your goal. So where that comes from, when I originally wrote it, is the 4 reasons why people fail to set goals that I learned from one of my mentors, Brian Tracy. And I've since added a 5th reason. Okay, it sounds like Abby's back now. Let me come back to her. Hey, all right, you're back. So the point that I was making when you dropped off is that in addition to what we were talking about, like whether or not you felt you had something to write or how hesitant I was to, create space versus guide and direct, in addition to that, the content of the KloobySnack is really from goal setting. we are in the integrity flavored section, and goal setting is one of the 10 points on the integrity game model. And what I was saying when you came back is early in my career, when I got mentoring from Brian Tracy, one of the legends in my industry, I learned 4 reasons why people fail to set goals. And I've since added a 5th one, and that's what we do. We change things 10 to 20% so we can make them our own. But what I'm getting at is fear of failure is one of the reasons. When I'm doing public speaking around it, I'm like, why do people fail to set goals? Why do you think people are afraid to set goals or fail to set goals? And most people usually get this one, fear of failure. And the idea is that it's a misunderstanding of what failure is. And so what I try to teach when I'm teaching goal setting is that the only real failure is failing to set or failing to pursue a goal. But if we set a goal, let's say to get a book done by January 1st, and you addressed this, right? We could push back the due date. If we got it done by January 10th or January 15th, did we achieve our goal? No. But that doesn't mean we failed. We just successfully learned what worked, what didn't work, what we would do differently. You know what I'm saying? We put ourselves in a position to make some adjustments, or we successfully got to whatever percentage of our goal. So the real learning behind the original authoring of the snack, and I'll be done, and then I'll talk about whatever you want to after this, is it's really getting people to understand that there's no such thing as failure, right? You're either going to win, you're either going to succeed, or you're going to learn. You're going to grow, you're going to progress, you're going to learn something. So there's no such thing as a mistake, as another KloobySnack. There's no such thing as a mistake, just learning wrapped in a little discomfort. And what we want, the audience out there, if anybody's watching a recording of this or watching the live stream, don't let the packaging fool you. The discomfort of being wrong, the discomfort of being mistaken, the discomfort of a setback, a failure, a pressure test, a fumble, error, all of the discomfort of that is still progress. It's still good stuff. So that's what we really want to talk about, is that the value of setting goals is not directly correlated to achieving them as they're set. The real value of setting goals is that you know what to pursue, and now you get out of bed and off the couch and you go for it, and then you collect all of your learnings along the way, and you keep climbing. So that's what that's where the snack is coming from. Never let the possibility of not achieving the goal prevent you from pursuing.
Yeah.
So now let me hear what else you have to say. You teased a little bit before reading the snack, but you got a lot to say about this one. I want to hear some more.
Well, there's like that. I was trying to think like with like that thought being said, where there's like I feel like I didn't have enough experience to draw from. I'm trying to like think about things I could talk about. And I know last week we talked about like just like the whole like college like actual like admissions process, and how like I think like I know you like there was like schools that I wanted to get into, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to, whatever, and I like didn't even think of like applying for a little bit. It's like, oh, like do it, like even try, whatever, and you were always super like motivating. It's like, no, like well, one, you were just like, as my dad, like, no, you're gonna get in, like blah blah blah, all that stuff. But then which like in turn like motivated me to like actually like try on my essays and like put that effort forward. So there's like that. And I don't really know what else I could talk about, and I still don't know if I am not qualified, but if I have enough to draw from in this snack and for this snack in particular. But I was reading forward, not to jump ahead, but I was reading forward to next week's, and I actually really, and I do like what I had to say with this one, and I acknowledge, like, first thing I acknowledge in my response is that I questioned whether or not I was qualified to write about the next snack. But then I pull from like your thoughts, like after talking to you, and like what you told, like what you had said to me about the snack, and then my interpretation of that. But I like off the bat, like first thing I did was acknowledge how I didn't know if I was qualified to write about it. But then from there, wrote about my understanding based off of what I had learned from you. So yeah, I don't know what I could replace like this response with. I just do, like, I am certain in the fact that like one day I will have something, but like that day was not a year ago when I wrote this, and that day is also maybe not today.
Well, yeah, but and like, think about theater. Like you brought up theater. Like I remember when you wanted to be Scarecrow. You had a goal of earning Scarecrow. You did, but there were other parts and other shows that you had goals. Like I don't know about like Rizzo or Ursula, two that came to mind. You were, yeah, this is what I want. I want this, and you pursued it, and it didn't work out for you in those cases. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But even not getting those parts, that doesn't mean you failed. You still like won and learned things, gathered experiences, and you know what I'm saying. I know that's one thing. the college admission, college
okay,
application is a different jam because you won everything in that regard. You hit all of your goals. But
yeah, I think like with the Scarecrow one specifically, like there was a time where I was like, because typically they give the role to a boy, and I was like, I'm not gonna get this, and we go around and we get to like read certain lines, and I was like, am I gonna read a Scarecrow line or do I just read a Wicked Witch line? Because I assumed I would just have been Wicked Witch, just like typecasting fitting wise, based on previous and I was like, I don't even know if I read a Scarecrow line, but my friends were like, well, no, you want Scarecrow. And I was like, well, yeah, but I don't know if that's even in my range. And I was like, I don't know if I want to read that because it's like, I want it so bad that if I read it and put it out there that I want it and I don't get it, then it's like, I didn't want to.
This is exactly what this snack is all about.
Yeah. So if there is stuff like that, I don't know. I like wish I had something new. I mean, I talked about theater and I talked about like wanting roles and all this stuff. I don't know. I wish I had something new. And if I were to rewrite this, like go back with the same exact snacks and write my responses to it, like 3 years from now, 2 years from now, a few months from now, whatever it is, I think I would have something of more substance to say about all of them, and that's a lot of what I think about now when I go back and reread stuff, because now that it is like actually at the point where it's a year later after writing these, there's so many things where I'm just like, one, I think it's weird, like, oh wow, like I really thought that I went through that at one point, I forget, but I just know there's so much more that I could say, and I like reading it,
Well, that let that be motivation. I mean, it's funny. I don't want to be too selfish, but it's music to my ears because the chances just went up that you and I are going to be doing some more writing together. Because we can do a second edition of this and rewrite your responses to them. We can edit the snacks themselves and just do KloobySnacks, the same book, but second edition, where we create a new intro. We say, hey, here's the things that we've done for this edition that are different than the first edition. We've this, we've that, we've this. Hope you like it. You know what I mean? And then there's a second edition, so we could do that. And then, the other thing is we can write volume 2. We could take a crack at 52 brand new KloobySnacks and have a new writing project there and create more that we can cringe at, right? So if we spent the next year writing volume 2, then 2 years from now, we'd have 2 volumes to cringe at. Yeah. And then maybe we'd write volume 3. And
but let me make it very clear. I don't cringe at all of them. There is certain things that I write or I read and I'm like, wow, like that was a good one. But then I guess those good ones make the cringier ones like worse. I don't know, in comparison, but yeah, there is certain things that I am really proud of in this, and even though it's like there's certain things, it's like, wow, my writing has gotten a lot better since then. It's like I am so proud of like what like 16-year-old me wrote, 17-year-old me, freshly 17-year-old me,
yeah,
and it is nice to like have this book to go back and like read about these experiences and thoughts that I don't have anywhere else in writing, but also it is like sometimes when I read something, I'm like, oh. That's published.
Yeah, well, sometimes we'll focus on time is money, and when we're focused on time is money, we're going to go fast. And sometimes we focus on patience as a virtue, right? And when we are, we're going to be a little bit more deliberate. And so when we're focused on any one particular snack, we could be proud or cringe, right? But what I focus on is #1 bestseller in the parenting girls category. I focus on the totality of the effort, the totality of the product, and I couldn't be more proud. Everything that I would edit, or every decision that I let go of in favor of keeping you engaged and not picking my battles wisely. Everything that you say that you wish you would have written differently or had other things to say or that make you cringe right now. I don't care about any of that because I know what we did. What we did is like so incredible and special, and it's already impacted so many lives. So I can't be too upset with any micro piece. I don't want to major in the minors. What I celebrate is the macro. Like what daddy-daughter combo in the world have written a book? Probably we're not the only ones, but written a book like this with this much authentic creativity and authentic personal branding in a world of fake this and fake that and artificial this and artificial that. I'm still a fan of authentic intelligence, and that includes the cringeworthy stuff. All right, I'll take it. I'll take all of it.
Truth. Ditto.
Yeah, Shazam. All right, what do you think about that, Jax?
Jax actually fell asleep.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. That takes us to last call. How about that? Last call for comments, questions, jokes, riddles, limericks, haikus, or expressions of gratitude. I always get laughs on that. I'm doing all-star sessions every Wednesday this fall. We have 2 more of those left, by the way. So that is my last call. Let me tell everybody right now that if you want to register for this week's all-star session in support of the 90-day challenge every year. Well, this is the 4th year in a row that we started on the Wednesday after Labor Day. And every Wednesday at 4 p.m., we had a couple of special start dates. I interview subject matter experts, all-stars, on each of the 10 points on the integrity game model. So, it's fun for me that we finished the year in the integrity flavored section of KloobySnacks while I'm running the integrity game 90-day challenge. So that's how I introduced myself the other day, Abby, at the networking event. I said, I'm kind of like a reverse mullet. And they go, huh? And I'm like, a mullet is business in the front and party in the back, but I'm more like party in the front and business in the back. Like out front, I'm doing the live streams and the speaking gigs and the KloobySnacks and the joviality, and I'm writing books, and and it's all serious, and it's jovial, and it's fast paced, and it's humor laced, and a little bit in your face. But on the back end, when I head into companies, we want to make accountability non-threatening. We want to increase the soft skills that make strong leaders, teams, and organizations. We want to get people's guard down long enough to learn a behavior, change a behavior, be a better teammate, be more engaged in what they're doing. And that's serious work, because accountability will always feel like an attack when we're not ready to be 100% responsible for our own behavior. Right? So I dropped this KloobySnack in my professional introduction. Right. And I said the reverse mullet. I'm all jovial and silly and disarming out front because I want to Trojan horse people into the very serious conversation about accountability and integrity and increasing our integrity and, exchanging the time we take accusing others of not having it in exchange for increasing our own. So we talk about it we talk about it every week in the 90-day challenge. And this coming week is Giving and Service Week. And just to real quickly review the points on the model: purpose, gifts, potential, goals, which we talked about tonight, goal setting, then strategies, tactics, and resources, then word and commitment, then action and behavior, then proactive learning, accumulation of accomplishments. And this week, Wednesday at 4 p.m., we'll be talking about giving and service, which reintegrates with purpose. Why are we on the planet? Who do we serve? Who wins when we win? Who drink from our cup when it's so full it spilleth over? Or who grabs from our jar when mom has made a plentiful batch of KloobySnacks? So that's my last comment for tonight. What do you got, Abby? Anything?
I have nothing. I have a sleeping dog next to me.
All right. Well,
he came in from Pennsylvania.
That's so cool. You guys have a blast. There's a couple of students that are going to be waiting for me on Sunday night office hours tonight because persuasive speeches start on campus tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and dismiss. I love you. Have a great night and a great week. And we'll do it all again next Sunday night. And just super proud of you, Abby. Keep it rolling.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye now. Good night, everyone.